Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday night call. My name is Debbie Steinman with It Works, and I have the pleasure of having our Dr. Pam Hather on the phone. How are you tonight, Pam?
I'm good, Debbie. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and thank you so much for joining us. We've got lots of fun. We've got lots of fun news with what's happened in your life in the last couple of weeks. But I just wanted to say hello to everyone and just to introduce a little bit about our It Works body wrap. If people are new onto the line for the very first time, I know we might be using this call as an introductory call. And with our background with wellness, we first went through the baby boom, and then we're going through the diaper boom, and we had the housing boom, and now we have the wellness boom. And, coupled with the instant gratification of the It Works wrap, we have a magical combination of a business boom. And it gets very exciting to see what's happened with It Works Global in the last few years. My background was real estate. My husband was in direct sales, and we've both retired and now full-time with this business. We've never done this type of business before. And, that brings me to my guest speaker, Pam. I know you're from the Minnesota area, and you're a mom with 3 kids. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your chiropractic background? We'd love to hear from you.
Sure, yeah. I'm a chiropractor. I've been practicing since 97. Owned my own practice for the last 12 years. Have 3 young kids. My kids are 7, 9, and 11, so busy mom. And, really enjoy what I do and loving what I do, but love my kids more, and so was kind of missing out on them. And got introduced to It Works about 1.5 years ago, and here we are.
And I know we've got some big news that happened in your life a couple weeks ago. And why don't you tell everybody, maybe kind of really, your background was chiropractor, your mom balancing, working 3 children and a full-time job, which a lot of us, have all done in the past, a busy lifestyle. And introduce to It Works. Can you tell us how that happened and what recently has transpired in your life?
Sure, yeah. So I was at a chiropractic seminar about 1.5 years ago, and actually Lynn Carver-Quinn was there along with Crystal Pearl, and Lynn was wrapping people, and I honestly just kind of rolled my eyes at it because I thought, yeah, whatever. And my friend Heidi was there too, and Sarah, and so on the second day I finally decided, okay, I'm just going to try it. And Heidi and I decided we would wrap together. So I wrapped, and I had great results. And I was really excited because I had lost a lot of weight, and had 3 kids, and saw these results, and I saw the results other people were having. And so both Heidi and I that day decided to sign up as a distributor. And really, my only intention of doing it was to retail it in my practice. I was busy running my practice, working my life, and I had no intention of doing anything with it. And so came home and very innocently posted something on Facebook about it. I had no intentions. I just was like, oh, this is exciting, so I posted something about it. And had people all of a sudden just messaging me and calling me, and found myself like 1.5 weeks later driving down to Des Moines, Iowa, and signed up I don't know how many distributors right off the bat. And so I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe I should take a look at the business. Maybe I should look at this a little bit. And so I did, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to work enough that it would pay my student loans every month, because I still have substantial student loans from chiropractic school, even though I've been practicing that long. And so that was my goal, and I reached that within a month. And so I kind of just sat there for a little bit. That was in September 19th is when I started. And then, cruised through the holidays, and then January came on, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do something with this. I should really do something with this. And so I decided to work a little bit more. I had an expo that I had already booked for my chiropractic clinic, and thought I'll just set up a table next to it. And it the rest is history. It just took off. I remember being Ruby, and I needed 5 distributors in 3 days to go Emerald, and I was like, this is never going to happen, but it did. I signed up 5 distributors in 3 days, and I went Emerald, and went Diamond, Double Diamond, Triple Diamond, boom, boom, boom. And I've just been really, really busy for the last 1.5 years because I've been doing everything, but made the decision that actually sold my practice. And last week we closed on it on Wednesday. It was not an easy decision because I really love what I do. But like I said before, I love my kids more, and I was really missing out on being with them. When you're in the service industry, you're working early, late, everything else, and so we made that decision and closed on the practice. Almost 2 weeks ago, actually, not last week, the week before, and am full-time with WrapSpa, retired from chiropractic, and just really enjoying being with my kids.
That's fantastic, Pam. Congratulations. That is a big move.
Thank you.
I know we spoke about a year ago, and you were contemplating this, and I think for all of us, it is a big leap of faith to go into the, obviously leaving a profession that you've had for so many years. Likewise, when myself and my husband, when we retired out of our businesses that we had already done. But with entrepreneurial spirit, I think we all know that we have that safety net to go back on if we ever need to. I wanted to just talk a little bit about, like when I got involved with the product line, I just wanted free product. I knew word of mouth was going to transform. So that body wrap that gives you that tightening, toning, and firming results and that instant gratification. I know with a lot of chiropractors, they're not really wanting to replace what they're doing, but what business doesn't want to add another stream of revenue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The way I looked at it is I thought I liked the health benefits of it, and I also thought to myself, when you feel better about yourself, you tend to make better lifestyle choices. And so that's why it was a no-brainer for me to just bring it into my office as a product. And really, I just thought this will be back end. That's what we call it. It's just another back end. That's why you have product on your shelves and different things. Is yes, that's your patients, but it does it's a profit center for your office. And so there's the beautiful thing about the business is if that's just what you're looking for, you can be very successful just doing that as well. And when I first started, I just started with the wraps. I really wasn't going to use any of the other supplements because I didn't know enough about them at the time. I've since come to love them and carried the full line at my office, and that's all that myself and my family take. But it took me a while to get to that point. But it wasn't, I'm sure a lot of chiropractors are in the same position. They're not wanting to replace what they're doing. That's not certainly what I was looking for. I was just looking for another profit center within my office.
And it's an easy profit center because it's something that you can do in your office with very little time, or it's something that the clients can take home. So a lot of people think of the old.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, I think one thing that's important to remember is that not only does it take very little time, but you as the provider don't have to be the one doing it. Train your staff to do it. Train your massage therapist to do it. It's so easy, and yet you're still having profit in your office.
And that's what we're all talking about, the bottom line, which is a great thing. Now I know when we talked a little bit earlier, you had mentioned that, like you said, you started with the wraps and the gel, but I know you started hearing about some testimonies. Can you share maybe anything that comes to the top of your head as far as you had heard some health testimonies from the other product lines, and like you said, you didn't want to add the complication of it, but just tell how easy it is to add everything else.
Right. Well, the greens were definitely one of the first things that I started because I've cured different greens for years in my office, but honestly, lots of them taste like mowed grass. And so the fact that this was a good tasting greens, people would actually, people will take it if it tastes good. And knowing how much better I felt when I was on it and just seeing the results people were getting, I was hearing from people, I haven't done anything different, but I'm taking the greens that have dropped 20 pounds. Well, it's because you're not craving things. It's because you have more energy. You're doing things. Just amazing stories of people taking the fat fighters and getting off their diabetic medication, having their cholesterol lowered, things like that. That's kind of what perked my interest, I guess, more. Is I started researching them more, but also when you hear those kind of testimonials and it's not just random people, it's people that you know that are using the product and getting those kinds of results, that really made me open up my eyes to, I really need to take a look at more of this. And every product that we've had, or that WrapSpa has, I've heard amazing testimonials about, but it took me a while to get there. I told you earlier, I think I'm going to classify us, but I think as a group, chiropractors are a little bit more analytical. Most of us have a pretty big science background, and, we're looking for those big studies or big, give me the absorbability ratings, and that's what I was looking for. But at the end of the day, what I needed to know was that people were getting those results, and that is what sold me on carrying it in my office.
That's fantastic. Now, you said to educate the staff and get them excited about it. I know that a couple other chiropractors that I've spoken with, one of the beauties of how our system works is if they would like to carry the other supplements, it's as easy as filling out an order form, placing that order, and having the It Works Global send that product directly to that client, which, takes out the middleman of having to worry about supplements that are expiring on your shelf. Would you agree with that, Pam, or anything you would add to that?
Well, absolutely. There's a lot of overhead involved with keeping supplements and whatnot on your shelf, and so when you cannot be that middleman and just keep a bare minimum so that people can buy it if they want to, but giving them the opportunity, you're not having to front the money for the product, and like you said, worried about products expiring and whatnot. But on the flip side of it, your patients will appreciate that. And I was just very honest with my patients about this is a multi-level marketing company, and so I'm a distributor. That's why I'm able to carry these on my shelves. But if you would like to sign up to be a loyal customer, you will be able to buy them wholesale. I'm happy to have you buy them here if you'd like, but if you'd like to save money, here is what you can do. And your patients will appreciate that too, because if they have the chance to, spend $33 on a bottle of Fat Fighters in your office, or $23 wholesale. If it's me, I'm going to pick the $23 wholesale anytime. And so that was very easy for me to do within my office.
Right, and like I've talked to other business owners too. Offering that program is very simple. It's a very, very, very easy program to do. It's very easy to place an order and have, like I said, it's shipped out from corporate. You don't have to worry about that. The sales tax and everything is taken care of, so it's very stream-free. But also just the most important part of offering a good supplement to them and something that is, like you said, easy and a bargain. We all like wholesale prices, right?
Right.
Yeah, and as former business owners ourselves, my husband and I, we all know the experience of having a huge overhead to pay for, bringing up that you have to pay out the door before you're bringing home that paycheck. And as a doctor, and I know in the medical field, you have to add in the insurance factor. And like we've talked before, the whole another stream of income. Can you just kind of touch a little bit about the insurance aspect of and how that other stream of income helped your practice?
Sure. Well, it's true. I mean, any business owner is going to have overhead, and so it doesn't matter if your overhead is $5,000 or $50,000. That first bit of money coming in goes to the overhead, and at the end of the day, you're the last one to get paid. So even when my office was collecting great amounts, I still had overhead to meet and make, and so you might be collecting all this money, but really, how much are you necessarily bringing home? And then you top that on with, in the healthcare world, insurance. People want to use their insurance. We pay for our premiums, and I understand that. And so I was a provider for many insurance companies in my office, but what they pay you is pennies on the dollar. I was sharing with you earlier that, in Minnesota, being a Blue Cross Blue Shield provider, I get reimbursed less than 50% of what I bill for any one thing that I do in my office. So I'm writing off over 50% of my charges. And so you have to see a lot of people and work really hard and be really diligent to be able to make enough money to even cover your overhead. It just has another piece of the puzzle. And then also, I think I mentioned this earlier too, but just your student loans that you have. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have their student loans paid off, and that's great, but I still had student loans because when you come out of school with over $100,000 in debt, I actually have somebody on my team who just graduated from school, and her student loans are $207,000 from chiropractic school. That's how much it's increased now. So you add that onto it, and it's really, really stressful, and that, for me, that's took some of the joy out of practicing too. So to have this additional revenue while I was practicing and be able to actually be taking home that money, and now, everything I make I take home, and that's pretty amazing.
That's very exciting, Pam, and just want to congratulate you again on what a big step. And I know that as a mom, when we're trying to balance so many things, that it's something that you'll never regret, spending those extra time with those kids when they're at home. And
Thank you.
Like I said, I appreciate you joining us. We're going to talk a little bit now. If you have forwarded out this phone call, to get back to the person that has recommended this call to you, but we want to talk a little bit more now on the aspect of approaching chiropractors. I know that you have stated, which I think is a great way of putting it, that your success did not come from what happened in your office. It was what you did outside of the office. And can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm always quick to share with people that, just like you said, my success didn't come from within my office. It came from without, because I was willing to go do expos and shows and do parties. I said I never would, but I love doing parties because I'm a people person anyway, and it's a great way to get a bunch of people in the room together and share the great products with them and give them my suggestions. But, from a provider standpoint, I really wasn't going to be building the business in my office, because I'm not going to talk to my patients about becoming distributors. That's a boundary that I wasn't willing to cross. And so everything I did came from outside of my office. Certainly I've got a great connection of chiropractic friends, and that's been a part of it. I do think that there's probably just my occupation lends credibility to what I say and what I do, and I do appreciate that. But don't mistake me. Like, I did work hard. It didn't just happen because I'm a chiropractor. So if you're really wanting to grow the business and really be making some great money and building a team, you are going to have to work at it.
And I like how you said at the beginning of the call, just like Pam Sutter always says, the person who wraps the most people is going to be the most successful. For you, getting that wrap on, wasn't that the magic that kind of turned your thought pattern about the whole body wrap?
Absolutely. Yep. When I wrapped, I think, my 45-minute results, I'm going to talk inches here, so if you don't want to hear inches,
That's okay.
But that was back when we were measuring, and I think I lost like an inch and a half, and I was like, oh, boo-hoo, but I still signed anyway. But 3 days later, I was down 8.5 inches, and that really solidified for me. It was crazy. I was so excited about that. And like I said, I had lost a lot of weight, and I had 3 babies, and really had been kind of plateaued. And so for me, it was really exciting to think about that this could be something that could help me get back on track with my goal of being healthier. And I have to tell you, Debbie, that when I started introducing this product to people too, I was really kind of peeved in the beginning that people wanted to do it for vanity reasons. I mean, I put together like a wrap party actually in my office in 2 days. I had 10 people show up. I had never had 10 people come to any kind of health talk that I did, and I just remember really struggling with that. But then what it came down to was whatever their motivation was for wrapping, whether it was for vanity reasons or health benefits, at the end of the day, whether they liked it or not and whether they knew it or not, I knew they were getting a health benefit. And that is what really helped me and made me even more passionate about what I was doing and more certain about what I was doing, because I knew they were going to get a benefit out of it. I certainly would never encourage somebody to wrap to replace any kind of lifestyle choices, but if you use it in conjunction with lifestyle, you'll have amazing results.
As close as magic as we can get, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Now how about for people that are approaching chiropractors, like I want to walk in and approach a chiropractor about the product line, what tips would you suggest for us to, walk in the office, make phone calls? How would you suggest getting in the door?
Sure. There's 2 ways you can approach it. I have always told people that I think calling ahead and trying to schedule an appointment is the best. I really didn't like it when people would drop by my office. In fact, I would, if I saw a salesperson come, even if I wasn't busy, I would go back and kind of hide in my office and have my front desk person get their card, and, you know, if I was interested, I'd call them back. So setting an appointment, I think, is good. But if you do decide that you're just going to walk in, and I actually did this a couple weeks ago when I was in Chicago, and we had really good results with it. We just walked in. But I think making that front desk person, making friends with that front desk person is key, because that is a key person in that chiropractor's office. And so if you can get them and win them over, you probably are going to have a better chance of, first of all, even talking with the doctor, and second of all, getting them on board. Because if the staff is on board and excited about something, most likely the doctor is going to be on board and excited about it too. So, you know, just like if you're going out to a salon and you offered, Mater talks about you got to get the wrap on somebody, get the wrap on the front desk person. And again, I would always stress that when you're talking with that doctor, to remind them they're not the one that has to do it in the office. Their staff can do it. Their massage therapist can do it. But I think just making friends with that person is the best. And I think arming yourself with some knowledge. So I don't expect anybody to go in and be a scientist and get all, you know, scientific on them, but have Dr. Don's calls about the wraps that you can send them. You know, have even this one just about how they can add it in. When you arm yourself with knowledge, you're going to be more credible, and they're going to want to work with you more.
I love those, Pam, and I also agree that I think we should implement the tools we already have and not be recreating the wheel. You know, one of the most profound things that you could have in your hand is a dried out wrap so they can see what it looks like, applicator ingredient list, and my favorite of having the Blitz card, but also, you know, some other before and after pictures, because if you can get their attention with that, and usually, like Pam Souter says, you know, the less talking that you have, and just show them the pictures and get the wrap on, you've got a sealed deal.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, how about any other last tips that you would say as far as recommending to approaching a chiropractor? I know you said to either walk in or make an appointment, get the wrap on.
Mm-hmm. I just think I think this is on your Facebook page too, but we do have a chiropractic packet. We've kind of evolved it and changed it a little bit. Back to the one that Cammie put together on her Living the Dream Team site, but it's a nice packet of material. It explains kind of more about how the wrap works, but it also shows how it can be a profit center within the office. So having that to give them is great. And also knowing that when you get them signed up, because you will, that you're going to have to work with them a little bit more, just not to babysit, but to really be there and work with them, because they're going to want to have somebody who wants to really see them succeed and grow. I would also recommend meeting them where they're at. And if really what they're looking for in the beginning is just a retail center, don't push them to building the business. Let them see how successful they can be with the retail center, and then continue to show them the business. Get them to a corporate event. Get them on the phone calls. It will come, and they will see it. And the other thing I would say, too, when you're approaching them is oftentimes it takes somebody saying no 9 times before they eventually say yes. So just because somebody says no, it's not that they're not necessarily interested, it's just not the right time for them. Now, that doesn't mean walking into their office or calling them 9 weeks in a row, but put them on your list that you've been there. You know, get back to them, because their right time will come. So don't be discouraged if you get a no. The more no's you get just means that there's going to be a yes coming up for you.
That's right. I love that, Pam. And, you know, when you suggested about we have to kind of walk them through that process of being successful, the beauty of our business is that pay-it-forward mentality of their success is our success. So, you know, it's in our best interest, of course, to have them be successful. And one of my favorite ways, if they are on the edge and they're not sure, is to have them host that event. Just like you said, have them host that health seminar with featuring the Ultimate Applicator, the body wrap, and have 10 people show up in their office that have never showed up for the, like you said, you had 10 people show up and you were shocked. So walking them through that process and letting them make that decision, that's one of my favorite ways of helping them, but also helping them provide them with the marketing material. Because the easier you can make it for them to make that decision, the better you have the chance of having great results.
Absolutely.
Well, great. Well, one other thing that we talked about today is we talked about a tip on keeping ourselves organized with some of these calls. Pam and I were talking earlier today, and one of my favorite ways of, possibly sending out a new recruit or a new prospect some of the information about the body wrap, I love to send them a recorded phone call. And it's a great way sometimes to capture their cell phone number. Like if I'm blitzing, I might just say, can I have your number, and I'll text you a before and after picture. Or can I have your number, and I'll text you Dr. Don's phone call that explains the science behind the wrap. So that might be a way of either, not necessarily the doctor, but you might be able to get it from the receptionist who could forward it on to the doctor of that office. Because hearing it from a third party adds that credibility. And one of the tips that I have to share with tonight is how to keep those organized. Pam and I were talking earlier, and I used to keep a Word document with all those links. But now what I've done, which has really helped me keep these calls at my fingertips, is I've organized my drafts of my email according to categories. Like I might have prospecting calls and, have several of those links right there in my draft, so I can always find them at a click of a button and text that prospecting call to a certain person that I might be talking about. And that seems very, very helpful for finding that information that you need right at the click of a button. Well, Pam, I certainly appreciate you joining us tonight, and congratulations again on your retirement. Perfect timing to spend the long summer with your kids. That's great timing, right?
I know. Thank you.
Well,
I've never had a summer with my kids, and I am beyond excited.
I bet you are. And the fun part about our business is we can implement blitzing and talking to people every step of the way when you're at the park, the water park, the pool, and whatever else happens all summer long, and have fun and be blitzing along with it. So we really appreciate you joining on the phone call tonight. We will have the recording up and posted. Any other closing words, Pam?
You know what? Just use this call and just stay focused and stay positive on yourself. You and I have had this conversation too. Don't compare yourself to other people. And just keep asking. Remember, if somebody says no, that it's not a personal rejection. Again, it's just not their time. So it's not about you. That's one thing I think chiropractic has greatly prepared me for with this business is I've been said no to so many times that there's no way it would ever hurt my feelings. Just stay positive and on track and plug in.
I love it, Pam, because we are in front of the big wellness boom, and we can feel the It Works momentum everywhere. So, again, I thank you again for joining us tonight, and we're going to say good night to everybody. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Debbie.
All right, take care, everybody.